welcome to my YouTube channel. And on today's episode, I will be answering some of the questions that I got from the last video, and I would also be talking about the hotels that we chose when we went to Turkey and the reason why we chose these hotels. And I will also talk about the lessons that I learned and the mistakes that I made as well, so that you can avoid them. So the last video I did, in case there's anyone here that didn't watch the video, so I talked about how to get a Turkish visa if you are a resident in the UK that is yet to have a British passport or indefinite leave. And I talked about everything that has to do with the visa application, the location of the office where you get visa, where you go for the visa application, and all the documents you need to take with you as well. So today I'll be answering, like I said earlier, I'll be answering the questions I got from the previous video, and also I will talk about the hotels that we stayed in when we were in Turkey and the reason why we chose these hotels. So the question I got was in regards to how your visa and the validity and how many times you are able to enter, and if it has to, if your visa would only cover the time that you are going to spend in Turkey. So from my understanding, I was given a 3-month visa, and the 3-month visa was a single entry. So what this means basically is that within that 3-month frame, I am only able to go to Turkey once, and that once I go through their border control one time, that's it. I can't go back again, even if by the time I come back my visa is still valid, I'm not able to go back again. So it's only for one single visit alone. So I think what this does is that it allows you to travel anytime within that 3 months, but you only have to go once. So I would think this doesn't make sense at all, considering how much one will spend to get a visa, and the fact that it is only given to you for 3 months and that you can only go in once. It doesn't really make sense to me. But because then the reason why I went for Turkey was because we wanted to go on holiday, and all the other options were maybe to get a Schengen visa for me, but I couldn't find an appointment for Schengen visa. And I also checked Egypt as well, and it was a long process that you have to send your passport. You have to do an initial application, then they will not get back to you and tell you you can apply or not, and that just seemed so long. So that was why I didn't bother with Egypt. And with Dubai, I wasn't so sure of what to do or how it worked. So because I know they've changed their laws in regards to Nigerians traveling to Dubai, and I searched online, I couldn't find anything coherent, so I just didn't bother. And Turkey just seemed like the only place that I could go to, or Morocco, but I didn't want to go to Morocco. So anyway, so now let's move to the topic of the hotels that we chose when we went to Turkey. So one thing I would say is that before you go anywhere at all, always make sure you do research. Do research and try to understand from many people's perspective. That way you'll be able to gather information on what to do and how to proceed. So I knew I was traveling with my family, I was traveling with young children, and I also knew that there's a part of me that would want to do things that the kids probably won't like that much, but which I would love. So it was like I had that aim to mix it together, do things that my kids will love and do things that I would love as well. So I went online and did a lot of research, and I found out that a lot of single people that go to Turkey, they don't book resorts. So with the resorts, you would normally have an all-inclusive, where your hotel, where food is covered, everything is covered, and you probably stay in one big place for the entire duration of your holiday. And the other option is for you to get an hotel where you probably just eat breakfast and find food elsewhere for lunch and dinner. And this is the ones that single people would normally go for usually. So I thought you know what, I don't want to be stuck in one place and have to eat the same food, or have to eat the same food from the same kitchen for 7 days. That just sounded boring to me. So I said, you know what we would do is we would book an hotel that would allow us have that will allow us spend the first 3 days exploring foods from every corner of Antalya, and then we will now end up at the resort for the remaining 4 days, where we would just relax, chill, and we won't have to go anywhere as much. And that the first 3 days will be spent exploring all the tourist attractions. So I went on booking.com and I found this hotel, which was quite cheap, I think, for a family of 5. I think we paid £300 for 3 nights, and it was quite okay, and it was in a very good location as well. The hotel is called Grand Golok, and it's right in their city center. And when I read the reviews, and that's the one thing I should say, you need to read reviews. Whichever attraction, hotel, or whatever it is that you're going abroad, make sure you read reviews. That will help you make your decision. So I read reviews about this hotel, and it was most people, what people talked about the most was the location. They said the location was superb, as it was right in the city of Antalya, and this hotel would allow you access to places, restaurants, shops that locals frequent. So that really sounded like a good idea to me. So I said, okay, we would go with this hotel. And the hotel only, you had access to breakfast, but you have to look for your lunch and your dinner elsewhere. Although they have a restaurant that you can also go to buy food. So we got this, and that was what we did. And for the remaining 4 days, we booked an hotel called Lima Clara, which is a resort, and it's in a part of Antalya where you would normally just find tourists, and only other locals that you would find there are probably working in the resort, or they have a shop around where they sell. And the thing about this part of Antalya is that when you go to the shops, you get tourist prices, because the locals don't buy things there. It is majorly for tourists. And with Lima Clara, it was amazing. It was lovely. They have these nighttime shows that is family friendly. The kids loved that. They also have children clubs during the day as well. There was access to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there was also in between meals as well. So it's you are able to continuously eat. I ate so much. I was so fat by the time I left there. So when we went to so let me just go back to talking about Grand Golok. So and I would also point out that when you are traveling, don't bother to book the taxi from the hotel. They would make that offer once you book the hotel. Don't. It's like double or triple the price you would pay if you get a taxi from the airport. I know that is not safe, considering that, God forbid, you might be kidnapped or something, but they have these registered cabs and they are painted yellow, and you can, if you call that, what we paid at the end of the day, the hotel wanted to charge I think £42 to pick us up from the airport, and this cab that we called, we ended up paying him £13, an equivalent of £13, which is way lower from what the hotel was going to collect. And it was comfortable. We had enough space for our luggages, and everyone sat down comfortably. So make sure you book your cab from the airport. Don't bother to book it or you can go through booking.com. They are quite cheap as well. We used booking.com on our way back, because we were at part of Antalya where you would normally find tourists, and all the cabs that we saw, all the cab companies that we called, they were quoting really high prices. So when I went on booking, I was able to find it for £16, which was way cheaper than €50 that they were going to charge us. So when we got to so from Grand Golok, I loved Grand Golok so much because it was this hotel that the room that they gave us was quite spacious. It was like someone's apartment. It had a bedroom, it had a living room, it had a dining room, and it had a bathroom as well. And the kids were able to run up and down inside. The only thing I didn't like about the room was that it was on the 9th floor, and it had this veranda that opened up to this stunning view of the city. But because we had children, and because we knew that we couldn't just take the risk of enjoying the veranda, so what we did was that we didn't enjoy the veranda at all. We only went there when they were sleeping, and we made sure that the doors were locked so that the kids will not be able to have access, because God forbid that someone falls from a ninth floor. So, oh God, I used yogurt to distract him, but now he's done and he's covered in yogurt anyway. So we went to, and also they have this spa in Grand Guluk, and they do everything that you want to do. They do facials, they do the Turkish Amman bath, they do full body massage, everything that you would want to do in a spa, they do it, and it's quite cheap. We paid £35 for a 3 hours spa session. Like, you can never get that in the UK. Never. And they were really good about it. Like, they did it really, really, really well, even better than you would get in the UK. And it was amazing. They took their time. There was no rush. They listened to the customer, and it was a great service. I loved that. And with Grand Guluk, we also had access to the market, to Antalya market, where locals shop, and things are really, really, really cheap here. Like, really, really cheap. We literally came back with extra luggages. We had to pay for extra luggages because we bought so much, because they were so cheap compared to what you get them for in the UK. And if there's one reason why I will go back to Antalya, it is for this shopping experience. It was amazing. Things were so cheap, and they were so cheap, and quality as well. So we went from there. So I was talking about Grand Guluk and what I loved about it. And it was right, like I said, it was right in the city center, and we had access to their market. And also we had access to great food, great street food that was really cheap. Like, I remember we went to like a place where they sell chicken wrap, and we spent, I think, like £4 or something, and everyone like ate, and we're all full. We even had leftovers. Then we also went to a restaurant where it didn't look as nice, because when we got there, my kids were like, oh, what kind of place has mommy brought us? I found the place on Google. Actually, it wasn't the place I found on Google. The place I found on Google was closed when we got there. So we took a cab all the way, and when we got there, they were like, oh, it's closed. So it was like, oh, where should we go to now? So while we were contemplating, a guy walked past, and he could speak English, thankfully, in a country where most people don't speak or understand English. We had to use Google Translate every single time. So it was this guy that now told us about another restaurant where locals eat and where food is cheap and really good. So we followed him, and he took us to this restaurant that had plastic chairs, plastic tables. Like, it just looked so basic, and my kids were already grumbling, where has mommy brought us to? They were so, because they are not used to going to restaurants that look basic. And but me being Nigerian, I've been to so many basic looking restaurants that had very, very, very good food. So I said, okay, you know what, you people should just calm down. Let's just see the food first before you guys would. Even my husband wasn't having it at all. But when they brought the food, oh my God. When they brought the food, it was so nice. And it was so much. Like, we didn't realize that it was a lot of food. And what we paid for the food, including the drinks and everything that we had, I think we spent like £30. Yeah, we spent like £30. And we had so much food that we had to tell them, you know what, just pack this for us to take away. And that was what we had for the dinner. So another thing I loved about Grand Guluk was the hotel staff. They were really nice and helpful, like very, very nice. And like I said, it was right in the city center, so you had access to places where you would buy spices, buy a lot of things at way cheaper prices. And I just remembered something, but I've forgotten it. So we also, oh God, I've forgotten. Oh my God. Anyway, let me just carry on. So I loved Grand Guluk so much, and we used I would say, okay, something I read online. I just need to mention this. If you are going to buy spices from Antalya, they have a large array of spices, wonderful spices, tasty spices that if you bring back to your kitchen, you will make banging meals. The ones that I brought back, they've been my go-to since we came back. But the thing is that you are better off buying it in a packaged form rather than in the, like, they will normally put it in bowls. Someone advised not to buy it there, because by the time you check through it thoroughly, you find out that you find some insects, and it's not really as clean and hygiene as you think it should be. So it's better to buy the packaged ones. At least you know that there's no dust or insects inside it. And that was the one I bought. And so we left Grand Guluk and we went to Lima Clara. And with Lima Clara, one mistake that we made was we booked our return flight. We chose an early flight, like 8 a.m. flight. We shouldn't have done that, because by choosing an early flight, we couldn't enjoy the benefits of that hotel to the fullest. The checkout time is, I think, 2 a.m. And because our flight was so early, we had to leave as early as 5 a.m. And although the hotel staff was like, oh, there would be breakfast at 5 a.m. But when we went to the restaurant at 5 a.m., the options were so minimal. So if we had booked like a later flight, maybe in the evening, we would have stayed in the hotel till maybe 2 p.m. and we would have had breakfast and lunch. So it was a big regret. And for next time, I would never book an early flight for a return flight again, no matter where I'm going to, because I would like to enjoy my money, like finish my money before I leave an hotel or a resort or whatever. So with Lima Clara, what I loved about Lima Clara was the fact that everything you needed was in a place. They had so many beautiful places to take pictures, although I didn't take as much pictures. They had all these pools, all these different kinds of pools for different levels of swimmers. And they also had a kids club as well, where you can drop off your kids. Although I didn't drop off my kids because the ladies there don't speak English, and God forbid something happens, how would I be able to ask them that, where's my daughter, what happened? Do you understand? So I didn't bother to drop my kids. I had my kids with me all the time. And even though my kids swim, they go to swimming lessons, I didn't trust that they will be safe to be left on their own in a place where you have like 10 swimming pools. Another thing I loved about Lima Clara was the food. The food was really amazing. Although it wasn't like the authentic Turkish taste that we experienced at the previous hotel. It was a bit watered down to suit like international taste. So I would say if you really want to enjoy Turkish food, forget about the resort. Go to where locals eat. Because with the hotels, you would know that they've adjusted the flavor in such a way to suit majority of palates. And although it was still good, and they had all kinds of dishes from seafood to meat to they even had tuna, which is quite expensive in the UK. They had the tuna sticks. I had that and it was so good. The food was like so many options. Like by day 2 we were already tired. But we knew we had paid for it, so we just like drag ourselves there to go and eat anyway. And another thing about that part of the city, or about Lima Clara, was that the shops that they had around them were shops that were open for tourists. So the prices there were way higher than where we were coming from. It was so like, because we had been to the previous hotel and we had seen how things were like there. When we got here, we couldn't buy anything. I needed nappy for my son, and I ended up paying £10 for just one pack of nappy, because it was tourist prices. And I remember when we were asking the cleaner where we could get a nappy, she was like, it would be better for us to go back to where we were coming from, because it is quite expensive. But we're like, it's just nappy, we might as well just buy it. And the taxis were expensive as well. The taxi drivers in this part, their highs are like, you don't tear. You know that phrase that we Nigerians use. Where we were coming from, if you want to go anywhere, the maximum you will spend is like £13. But yeah, they were asking for 50. They didn't even want their currency. They wanted euro. So I would advise that if you go there and you really want to enjoy yourself, go to Murapasa. That's where Grand Guluk is, for your shopping experience, if you don't want to be ripped off. And also, do bear in mind that when you are in Murapasa, where Grand Guluk is, also bring your Nigerian haggling spirit. Don't pay the first price that they give to you, because once they see you, they know you are a foreigner and they will want to play on that. So make sure you drag price with them, like agul and agul and agul until you cannot go anymore. That is the best way to get the best deals, because these people, they can see you, they see you and they know that you're a foreigner, and they will try to play on that. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I can't remember anything again right now. So if anybody has any questions in regards to this video, please don't hesitate to drop a comment down, and also share the video as well, and like and comment. And I would say Antalya is a very lovely place. You would love it. I remember the entire process of applying for the visa and getting the visa. I met so many people. Like when I went to the place where I took my documents for the visa application, I met so many people there, and I always like to strike a conversation with people just to find out what they feel. And a lot of them were not, like, it wasn't their first time. It was like, there was a woman I met, it was like her 7th time. She said she loves the place so much that she keeps going back over and over again. And when we were traveling as well, the flights that we took, we actually used an airline called Pegasus, which is quite cheap. Although the reason why it is cheap is that the money for food and all those things is not included. So you have the option of bringing your own food or buying food on the flight. So we met this family, this Nigerian family. I don't know, were they Nigerian? I can't remember now. And my kids got really close to their kids as well, and they told us that we've been going to Antalya for 10 years now. Like, it's our go-to holiday destination. So that will tell you that it's the place that people love. It's a place that you would go to and love, and you always want to go back to. And we also met a lady at the airport as well. She was in front of us, and she told us that, oh, this is my 5th time. So it's like everyone we met along the line was going there for their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th time. So it just tells you that it's a great place. And even I personally would still go back, because I couldn't explore it as much as I wanted to. There were so many places that I wanted to go to. I had in my journal that I wanted to visit, but I couldn't because we had kids. And with these kids, they get tired easily. So, and we only had one buggy. We had two young children that couldn't walk for long, and we had one buggy. So that didn't allow us to do as much as we wanted to do. But I will tell you that if you're able to go for this, like apply for the visa and go for holiday, you will really enjoy it. And for the currency, we used an app called Wise. So what is it? You can download it on Apple Store. So what you do is you pay pounds into this account, and you're able to use the card in any country that you are in. So you're being able to spend the currency of that country using that Wise card. And that really helped us, because a lot of times when they give you the price in euros or pounds, the exchange rate they use is usually really bogus. So Wise really helped out. And I can't think of anything again. So I would also like to add that going on holiday is not a luxury. It's something that everyone needs to do, irrespective of where you are in life. I've seen people that are minimum wage earners that go on holiday. So it's not something that is exceptional or different. And I would say this, you don't have to wait till you have indefinite leave or British passport before you go on holiday. Because by the time you go, even me, before I went on this holiday, I used to feel like holiday is like an unnecessary expense. But I've realized that it's something you need to do, irrespective of how much you are making. You don't even have to go to places that are expensive. You can go to Morocco. With Morocco, you only need like £500, and you will enjoy yourself. You will have good food. You will have, you will feed your eyes. You would have good experiences, great experiences that will stay with you a lifetime. So try to make it an habit to go on holiday at least once a year, and you will have yourself to thank for it. All right then. Thank you everyone for staying with me to the end. If you did stay to the end, I hope I wasn't waffling too much. I'm still trying to get used to this. So thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.